Welcome everyone to today's webinar on SEO in sneakers, modern SEO strategies that actually work. We're excited to dive into how you can optimize your website with the latest strategies to ensure it stands out in this fast-paced mobile-first world. If you're wondering how SEO has evolved and what works now in 2025 and beyond, you're in the right place. The world of SEO is constantly changing, and as businesses, we need to stay on top of these changes. Gone are the days when keyword stuffing was enough to rank high on Google. Now we're looking at modern techniques like mobile first indexing, voice search, content clusters, and even the new EAT standards. These are the new pillars of SEO that will help you build a strong, sustainable online presence. SEO is not just about showing up in search results anymore. It's about getting relevant traffic, the right kind of users who are looking for exactly what you offer. But how do we get there? Well, that's exactly what we're going to break down today, focusing on strategies that will give you lasting results. By the end of this session, you'll be ready to implement modern SEO techniques and see how they align with how users are searching today. From mobile first strategies to understanding voice search, we've got you covered. So let's get started with the basics of how SEO is evolving and why these updates are so important.
Absolutely. Before we dive deeper, let's talk a bit about why SEO is changing. A few years ago, SEO was all about matching the right keywords to your content. But with the internet becoming mobile first, the way we start search has changed dramatically. People aren't just typing to their desktops anymore. They're searching on their phones, using voice assistants, and expecting fast, relevant answers. And let's be honest, who doesn't want a search experience that's smooth and quick? Now, Google has shifted its focus. Mobile first indexing is the norm, meaning Google now primarily looks at how your site performs on mobile devices. If your website isn't optimized for mobile, it's going to hurt your rankings. But don't worry, we'll get into what you need to do to be mobile ready in just a bit. Next up, voice search. How many of us use Siri or Google Assistant to look things up? It's become so common, and that's exactly why voice search is something you can't ignore. People are asking their phone questions in a natural conversational tone. So if your website isn't ready to answer those questions, you'll miss out on valuable traffic. In this webinar, we're going to break down all these trends. It's not just about adding keywords anymore. It's about structuring your content so Google can understand it, especially in a world that's shifting towards mobile first and voice search.
Let's talk about mobile first indexing and why it's become such a crucial aspect of SEO today. A few years ago, Google would primarily look at the desktop version of your website to determine your ranking. But as mobile usage soared, Google introduced mobile first indexing, meaning it now predominantly uses the mobile version of your website to determine how well it ranks. This is huge. Think about it. How often do we check our phones? Whether it's searching for a restaurant, checking social media, or buying something online, mobile is the go to device for almost everything. Google knows this and they want to prioritize websites that provide an optimal mobile experience. So, if your website isn't mobile friendly, you're already at a disadvantage when it comes to SEO rankings. It's not just about having a mobile version of your site anymore, it's about ensuring that the mobile version is fast, easy to navigate, and user friendly. If your website is slow to load or hard to use on a phone, users are going to bounce away, and that'll send a negative signal to Google. We'll discuss how to optimize your site for mobile and what key factors you need to keep in mind when designing your mobile first strategy. Just remember, if you want to rank higher, you need to make sure your site is optimized for mobile users first. So let's dive into the actionable steps you can take to make sure you're on top of this trend.
Yes. Let me add a little bit more here. Think of it this way. Your website's mobile version needs to be just as good as its desktop counterpart. Google's algorithms now look for a seamless user experience on mobile. That means fast loading times, easily accessible navigation, and content that looks great on smaller screen. A perfect example of mobile first optimization is the famous e-commerce brand Amazon. Their mobile site is not only fast but also incredibly user friendly. Anything from product pages to checkout is optimized for mobile users, ensuring customers can browse and buy with ease. This mobile optimization directly impacts their SEO because Google rewards websites that cater to mobile users. Now, you may be thinking, how do I check if my site is mobile friendly? Well, There are tools like Google's mobile friendly test that can give you a good idea of where your site stands. If there are issues, you need to fix them. Whether it's adjusting the layout, improving load times, or making sure your content is easy to read on smaller screens. Mobile friendliness isn't optional anymore. It's a key part of staying competitive. As we move forward, keep in mind that mobile optimization isn't a one-time thing. It's an ongoing process. Your website needs to evolve as technology advances, so it's crucial to keep monitoring and improving your mobile experience to stay ahead of the game.
Now, let's dive into one of the most important aspects of modern SEO, voice search optimization. You might have noticed how we've moved away from typing into search engines and instead ask Siri, Alexa, or Google Assistant questions out loud. This shift has significantly changed how search engines rank content. It's no longer about matching exact keywords, it's about understanding natural language and how people actually speak. Voice search is all about conversational queries. When you type something into Google, you might search for something like best pizza places. But when you ask your phone, you might say, Hey Siri, where's the best pizza near me? The phrasing is different, and that's exactly why voice search requires a unique approach. The goal here is to make sure your content answers these types of questions. The key to optimizing for voice search is to focus on long tail keywords. These are longer, more conversational phrases that people tend to use when speaking. For example, instead of just targeting best pizza, you might want to target what are the best pizza places in Delhi, for example. The more specific and conversational your content is, the better it will perform with voice search. So, if you're not thinking about voice search as part of your SEO strategy, now's the time to start. It's already a huge trend and it's only growing. Voice search is projected to make up a significant portion of searches in the coming years. So let's explore how you can adjust your content to fit this new way of searching.
Yes. To build on what you just said, voice search isn't just for asking simple questions, it's changing how people make buying decisions. Let me share a quick real life example. Let's say you're a local bakery owner. If someone asks their phone, where's the best chocolate cake near me? And you have a well optimized conversational response on your website, chances are you'll show up in the results. The importance of structured data comes in here too. Search engines like Google love structured data because it helps them understand your content better. For example, you can implement FAQ scheme markup on a website. This markup lets you structure common question and answer on your site in a way that's easy for search engines to read and index. This makes it more likely that Google will pull your website's content into voice search results when someone asks a similar question. Another important element is local SEO. Voice searches are often local in nature. People tend to ask voice assistants for recommendations nearby, whether it's for restaurants, stores, or service providers. This is why having your business listed on Google My Business and ensuring your NAP, which is name, address, and phone number, consistency is vital to voice search optimization. So now that we understand the mechanics, how do we optimize the content for voice search? The first step is to think about the natural questions your audience might ask. Then create concise, valuable answers that are designed to match the way people speak. Keep your content relevant and easy digestible, so it's ready to appear in a voice search result.
Let's now talk about content clusters. This is a game changer when it comes to structuring your website and boosting your SEO rankings. Content clusters refer to grouping related content together around a central pillar page. So instead of creating individual blog posts about various topics that are loosely connected, you create one big comprehensive page on a broader topic and then create smaller pages or blog posts that link back to that main topic. Think of it like a spider web. The pillar page is the center, and all the smaller pages or cluster content radiate out from it, linking back to the main page. This method helps Google understand that your website is an authority on that particular topic, which can ultimately help you rank better. For example, let's say your website is all about home gardening. Your pillar page might be something like the ultimate guide to home gardening. From there, you can create content clusters like best plants for indoor gardening, how to grow vegetables at home, organic pest control, and so on. These pages link back to your main guide, making it clear to Google that your site is comprehensive and authoritative on gardening. This method doesn't just benefit SEO, it also benefits your audience. When users land on your pillar page, they can easily navigate through the related cluster content to explore more in depth topics. It makes for a more organized, user friendly experience, and Google loves that.
Exactly. And to add to that, when you create content clusters, you are essentially building a content ecosystem. This ecosystem helps improve the structure of your site, making it easier for Google crawlers to index your content properly. By organizing your content in this way, you give Google clear signals about which pages are related, which can improve rankings. A real life example of a company doing this really well is HubSpot. They have an extensive content strategy that focuses heavily on content clusters. One of their main pillar pages might be content marketing, and under that they have detailed articles on topics like SEO, content distribution, lead nurturing, and more. All of these smaller pages link back to the content marketing pillar, providing a comprehensive and organized resources for users while also boosting SEO. Another reason content clusters work so well is that they increase user engagement. When users find a comprehensive resource that links to other helpful content, they are more likely to stick around, explore multiple pages, and interact with your site. This leads to lower bounce rates and more time on site, both of which are good signals to Google. Lastly, content clusters allow you to easily target long tail keywords. By creating individual pages around specific subtopics, you have a better chance of ranking for more niche, long tail search queries. This approach not only helps you rank for broader keywords but also helps you dominate the long tail keyword space, which is often less competitive but highly valued.
Now, let's move on to something that's absolutely crucial in today's SEO landscape: mobile first indexing. It's no secret that mobile usage has skyrocketed, and now Google prioritizes mobile friendly websites when determining rankings. In fact, Google has moved to a mobile first indexing system, which means they'll first look at the mobile version of your website to decide how it ranks, even if the user is browsing on a desktop. Think about it, more people are using their phones for online searches than ever before. Whether it's checking social media, shopping online, or just finding a local business, smartphones having have become the go-to device for just about everything. If your website isn't optimized for mobile devices, you could be missing out on a significant amount of traffic. Google's algorithm considers the mobile version of your website as the primary version. So, if your mobile site isn't up to snuff, your desktop site might suffer too. Responsive web design is your best friend here. It's all about creating a website that adjusts its layout based on the device being used, whether that's a phone, tablet, or a desktop computer. With responsive design, your content remains accessible, user friendly, and visually appealing on all devices. This is incredibly important because Google ranks websites that provide a better user experience, and mobile friendliness is a huge part of that experience. Real life examples like Amazon and Zappos have invested heavily in mobile first design, and it's paid off. They've made sure that their websites load quickly and easy to navigate and provide a seamless experience for mobile users. So, if you want to stay competitive, ensure your site is mobile optimized. Isn't just optional, it's a must.
Absolutely. To take this further, mobile first indexing isn't just about having a mobile friendly design, it's also about optimizing the technical aspects of website to load quickly on mobile devices. When you think about mobile browsing, speed is key. Nobody wants to wait for a website to load on their phone. If your website takes too long to load, users will leave and Google will take that as a sign of a poor user experience. This is where core web vitals come into play. Core web vitals are a set of metrics that measure the user experience on a site, including loading performance, interactivity, and visual stability. Google uses these metrics to determine how well your site performs, and they are a ranking factor. So, if your site doesn't perform well in terms of loading speed or interactivity, it's going to hurt your ranking, especially on mobile. A good example of a company getting it right is Apple. Their website is incredibly mobile friendly, fast, and easy to navigate. They've taken the time to ensure that all their images are optimized for a quick loading and their navigation is simple and intuitive. When a website like Apple's is optimized for mobile, it only keeps users happy but also helps maintain a competitive edge in the search rankings. For the businesses, a simple thing like compressing images, reducing unnecessary scripts, and ensuring that the website uses accelerated mobile pages, commonly called AMP, can make a significant difference. These changes improve speed and usability, which are key to Google's mobile first indexing system. The faster your site, the better the experience for its users, and the higher chances of ranking well in search results.
Now, let's dive into something that has taken SEO by storm in recent years: voice search. With the rise of voice activated assistants like Siri, Alexa, and Google Assistant, more and more people are using their voices to search for information rather than typing. In fact, it was estimated that over 55% of households will have a smart speaker by 2022, and this number continues to grow. And now, I guess in 2025, a lot of people, use smart speakers. This shift has changed how people search for information. When typing, people tend to use shorter phrases or keywords. However, when using voice search, they speak naturally, asking full questions or making statements. For example, instead of typing best pizza in New York, a user might say, "Hey Siri, what's the best pizza in New York?" Voice search queries are longer and more conversational, which means businesses need to adapt their SEO strategies accordingly. So, how do you optimize for voice search? Well, it's all about focusing on natural language and long tail keywords. The way you speak is different from how you type. So it's important to adjust your content to reflect that. Think about the questions people would ask if they were speaking aloud. Instead of focusing solely on short, broad keywords, you need to optimize for more specific question based queries that mimic natural conversation. This will increase your chances of showing up in voice search results. A great example of a company leveraging voice search optimization is Domino's Pizza. They've made it easy for customers to order pizza using voice search through devices like Google Home. By integrating voice search functionality into their ordering system, they've created a more seamless experience for their customers and made it easier for people to find them using voice commands. This is an excellent way of aligning SEO strategies with emerging trends.
Exactly. Voice search is definitely the future, and businesses can't afford to ignore it. Let's take a deeper look at why long tail keywords are crucial in optimizing for voice search. When people use voice search, they often ask specific questions, and these questions tend to be longer than traditional typed queries. For example, someone might type best in a restaurant, but they would more likely to say, "What's the best Italian restaurant near me?" By focusing on long tail keywords, you can tailor your content to match these type of search queries. It's not just about thinking of words to rank, but for understanding how people phrase their searches out loud. Think about how a person would ask a question if they were speaking to a friend. Using conversation language will help your content rank better for voice search. Let's consider a real example of Answer the Public, a fantastic tool that allows businesses to see the kind of question people are asking around a particular keyword. By using this tool, you can generate a list of questions that are likely to be spoken in a voice search. For instance, if you're a personal trainer, some of these questions might be, how can I lose weight fast? Or what's the best workout for beginners? These are exactly the types of queries that people would speak aloud to voice assistants. In addition, structured data or schema markup also plays a key role in helping Google understand the context of the content and answering voice queries. By adding structured data to your pages, you're helping Google pick out the most relevant information to show when someone asks a voice search queries. This can really boost chances of getting featured in a question zero snippet, which is coveted answer box that appears at the top of search results.
Now, let's come back to content clusters. Content clusters, let me tell you, content cluster take this topic and elevate it, grouping together related content under a central pillar page. So, for instance, if you're in a fitness blog, your pillar page could be something broad like Ultimate Guide to Fitness. Then you could create a cluster page that focus on specific areas like strength training, cardio, nutrition, and so on. So the beauty of this strategy is that it doesn't just help with SEO but also user experience. Visitors who land on your site will be able to easily navigate to related articles or resources, keeping them engaged and reducing bounce rates. Plus, all the pages that are linked together, it makes it easier for search engines to crawl and understand the structure of your site, helping you rank better overall. So HubSpot is a primary is the was the prime example of the company using content clusters effectively. They have created a pillar page for a broad topic like inbound marketing and then developed several cluster pages around related subtopics such as SEO, content creation, and social media marketing. Each of these pages links back to the main pillar page, creating a web of interconnected content that boosts their authority on inbound marketing. This strategy has been instrumental in driving traffic and increasing their search rankings.
Now that we understand the power of content clusters, let's discuss how to create your own content cluster. The first step is to identify a core topic, which should be something broad that the audience cares about and that fits your business objectives. Let's say you're in a digital marketing agency. Your pillar page could be something like digital marketing strategies. And then you would create supporting pages on topics like SEO, PPC, content marketing, and social media management. Once you have a pillar page, the next step is to create the supporting cluster pages. These should be focused on specific subtopics related to your core theme. Each cluster page should provide in-depth content on a specific subject and link back to your pillar page. This creates a network of content that Google can easily follow, improving your overall SEO ranking for both the pillar page and the cluster pages. Let's take Moz, a popular SEO software company, as an example. They have done a great job with content clusters by organizing their website around key SEO topics. For example, their pillar page, What is SEO, is supported by several cluster pages that cover things like keyword research, on-page SEO, and link building. This setup allows Moz to establish themselves as a leading authority on SEO, which also providing valuable and organized resources for their users. What's great about content clusters is that it allows you to repurpose content. You might already have a lot of valuable articles or blog posts on various topics. You can simply organize those existing pieces into content clusters, which will not only boost SEO but also make it easier for your audience to find the information they need. It's an efficient way to enhance both your content strategy and your website's overall performance.
Let's move on to an essential aspect of modern SEO that's crucial for credibility and trust: EAT, which stands for experience, expertise, authoritativeness, and trustworthiness. This concept has become a foundational pillar in Google's ranking algorithms. It's not just about creating content that ranks high, it's about ensuring that your content is reliable and credible, especially for topics that could impact people's health, finances, or safety. First, let's break down each component of EAT. Experience refers to the first hand or lived experience someone has on a topic. If your website is talking about fitness, for instance, it's not enough to just read a bunch of articles on fitness. You need to have real experience, whether that's through personal workouts, testimonials from customers, or even certifications. Google values content created by individuals who have actual experience in the field. Expertise comes into play when you are demonstrating deep knowledge about a particular topic. This is where your credentials or qualifications become significant. Google wants to see that the person or organization creating the content has proven expertise in the specific field. This is especially important for YMYL, Your Money, Your Life pages, which include topics like health, legal, advice, and finance, where incorrect information can have serious consequences. Finally, authoritativeness and trustworthiness speak to how reliable and well respected you are in your field. Are you recognized as an authority by others in the industry? Do other respected websites and organizations cite or link back to your content? Trust is earned over time by consistently delivering high quality, accurate content that users can rely on. So, a great example of EAT in action is WebMD. When you search for health related questions, WebMD consistently appears in the top search results because it's widely regarded as an authoritative and trustworthy source. Their content is written by medical professionals or vetted by experts, ensuring it meets the EAT standards Google looks for.
Yes, the importance of each can't be overstated, especially in today's digital landscape. Google's algorithms are getting smarter at identifying content that isn't just well written but that also comes from credible sources. This is particularly vital when you are dealing with content that impacts users' health, wealth, or overall well being. Let's dig deeper into experience. Google wants to prioritize content created by people who live and breathe the subject. So, if you're running a tech blog, it's not enough to simply write about gadgets. To rank higher, you need to showcase your hands on experience. For example, a review of the latest smartphone will rank higher if the author has actually used the phone and can give real valuable insights based on their direct experience with the product. In the same way, expertise is all about demonstrating authority on a subject matter. If you're in a niche field like law, finance, or health, it's crucial to have certified experts contributing content. Google rewards content from those who are recognized as leaders in their field. Let's take Neil Patel, a well-known SEO expert. His content is highly trusted because he has a long track record of success in the marketing world, making him an expert in SEO. Lastly, we have trustworthiness, which is essential to gain the confidence of both your audience and Google. A great example of trustworthiness is the New York Times. The reason it ranks highly is that people trust the brand. Its reporting is factual, well researched, and backed by credible sources. So, to build your trust with Google, you need to not only create high quality content but also build a reputation that reflects reliability.
Now, I would like to come back to mobile first indexing. So, when you build your website, imagine that 90% of people are visiting it on their phones. Does your website look great and work well on mobile? If it doesn't, you may be missing out on valuable traffic. So, mobile first indexing also impacts site speed. If your website is slow on mobile devices, it will affect your rankings. Google now considers mobile speed as a ranking factor, so it's essential to make sure that your site loads quickly on mobile. Now, a practical example is the website of Amazon. Amazon's mobile website is incredibly fast, intuitive, and optimized for mobile users. Whether you're browsing on a smartphone or a tablet, you get the same seamless experience. They've heavily invested in making sure that their site works well on mobile because they know that most of their customers are shopping on their phones. This focus on mobile experience has helped the e-commerce. Google's mobile friendly test tool can help you determine whether your site is mobile friendly. It's a great way to see if there are any issues that might affect how your site performs on mobile. If you haven't already checked your site for mobile optimization, now is the time to do it. Your rankings could depend on it.
Great point. The mobile first approach is the future of SEO. And as we all know, the future is already here. Not only do we need to ensure our websites look good on mobile, but we must also optimize for user experience. This means that users should have an easy time navigating through your site on a smaller screen. Elements like clear navigation, large buttons, and easy to read text are crucial. When it comes to content, think about mobile friendly design. This includes using shorter paragraphs, larger font sizes, and ensuring that your images are properly scaled for smaller screens. Remember, mobile users are usually on the go and don't have the time to pay or patience to scroll endlessly through long blocks or text. So the key is to make your content scannable and digestible on small devices. Take a look at Spotify. The mobile app and websites are both incredibly mobile friendly. They design their app with mobile use in mind, everything from the layout to the buttons. It's easy to navigate on a phone. Spotify also loads the uh, Spotify also loads quickly on mobile, which means users don't have to wait for the music to buffer. This creates a smooth experience that encourages you to stay engaged and continue using the app. It's a perfect example of why mobile optimization is such an important part of SEO today. Finally, if your website is responsive, it automatically adapts to fit different screen sizes. This means that the desktop site can seamlessly convert to a mobile-friendly version without additional work. It's crucial for ranking in Google's mobile first index. If your site isn't responsive yet, it's a good time to make that a priority.
So let's quickly recap the key takeaways from today. We've talked about mobile first indexing, voice search optimization, content clusters, and how each can transform your SEO strategy. These modern SEO strategies are all about providing value to the user and creating content that not only answers their questions, but does so in a way that's easily accessible, quick, and trustworthy. The SEO world is rapidly changing and implement the SEO world is rapidly changing, and to stay ahead, you need to adapt and implement these strategies to ensure your site stands out in the search results. So it is crucial to remember that SEO is not just a one-time effort. It's an ongoing process that requires constant tweaking and optimization, regularly updating your website's content, analyzing your performance, and making necessary adjustments based on user feedback and algorithm changes will help you maintain a competitive edge. So the beauty of SEO is that it's measurable. If something isn't working, you can always adjust and experiment with new strategies. If you're just starting to work on SEO or need a fresh perspective on your existing strategy, remember that it's all about providing a better user experience, whether that's making your website faster, improving content quality, and ensuring your site is mobile friendly. Every change you make should serve to enhance the user journey. The more value you give to your audience, the more Google will reward you with higher rankings. Before we end, I want to remind everyone that SEO is a marathon, not a sprint. Keep experimenting, keep optimizing.
Thanks, Anurma. It's been a pleasure going over these key strategies today, and we hope that all of you have found this session insightful and useful. We've covered a lot of ground, from adapting to Google's mobile first indexing to optimizing your content for voice search and leveraging each for higher trust and authority. It's clear that SEO isn't just about keywords anymore. It's about the entire user experience and how well you meet their needs across different platforms. As we wrap up this webinar, I'll remind you that SEO is evolving and it's important to stay updated with the latest trends and best practices. The strategies that we have discussed today are just the beginning of what's possible. As search engines become smarter, your approach to SEO must also evolve. Be sure to continuously test and optimize your strategies based on the audience's needs and the changing landscape of SEO. Since this is a recorded webinar, we understand you might have some questions or suggestions. Feel free to drop them in the comment section below. We'll be happy to review them and provide detailed answers to any queries you have. Your feedback is valuable to us, and we want to make sure we're addressing all the concerns, whether they're about today's content or other topics. And if you need any help with these strategies for your business or simply want to dive deeper into any of these aspects, Gold 360 is here to assist you with tailored SEO services. Thank you so much for joining us, and we look forward to hearing from you in the comments. Thank you.